Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today I offer an amendment that addresses the accountability requirements as they relate to English learners. Under current law, English learners are included for accountability purposes after only 1 year of instruction in English. This is simply unrealistic and unfair. English learners cannot be expected to be proficient after 1 year, and schools should not be penalized for this impossible time frame. The Department of Education recently granted Florida a waiver to No Child Left Behind that extended that time frame to 2 years for proficiency calculations, but still required English learners to be included to measure growth. The measure before us does not address this issue, but I strongly believe that it should, and encourage my colleagues to support the amendment I offer today. It is similar to the current Florida waiver in that English learners would be exempted for purposes of proficiency calculations. However, since the committee's proposal does not require that states include growth calculations, it would only require inclusion for English learners if the state elects to include growth as part of their accountability system. States would be able to delay the inclusion of English learners for 2 years for math and 3 years for reading and language arts. The extended time frame for reading is in response to the fact that this is the area in which English learners tend to struggle the most. As a former member of the Miami-Dade County Public School Board, I dealt with this issue at the local level and was pleased that Florida was granted the waiver to No Child Left Behind after many years of begging the federal government. And Mr. Chairman, I'll tell you, it was difficult when I would visit classrooms of English language. There are many of those classrooms in South Florida. And I would see teachers working with students for hours and hours. And the students would improve, but towards the end of the year, when they were tested, they were yet proficient. And they were labeled as failures, their teachers were labeled as failures, and their school labeled as failures. And that was fundamentally unfair. With the waiver, we got relief, which we needed. But I think this is another example, very rigid federal requirement that needs to be relaxed so that these young, oftentimes immigrant children, but sometimes not children, the opportunity to learn the language. We give their teachers the support and the confidence that they need to teach these students, and we avoid punishing school districts and schools that are trying to do right by these children. So this is an opportunity for Congress to address the issue that English language learners need adequate time to learn the language before their scores count against schools. At the same time, we want to maintain accountability so that their progress can be tracked, every student counted. So in short, we'll ensure that students are counted, but will not count these students out prematurely, and will our teachers, our schools, and school districts, especially in areas like South Florida, the support and the time that they need to properly educate these children. So I respectfully ask for the committee support. I thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back.